The weight server node allows for interactive control of target channel's weights through influence objects such as transforms, curves, meshes, or even textures. This can be helpful for refining weight maps or creating partial shapes other than through painting weights. The weight server node can be created for a target channel by clicking the rightmost button for the shape. This opens the Unified Creation and Editing window for the ramp weights and weight server node. Select which type of node you want to use for controlling the weights, and if you want to create a new node or rather use an existing node from the scene. The next step after creating the node is connecting any influences. This can either be done through the shape's interface or through a separate Edit Influences window, which is usually used when the weight server node is handled without shapes. Press the weight server button in the target list and choose Edit Influences. The shape driver folder is used to add or remove influences for the current weight server. Select the node which should be used as an influence and press the Update Influences button. If influences should be removed, simply deselect the nodes which aren't of interest anymore and press Update Influences. With the influences connected, it's time to set up the attributes. Press the weight server button in the target list and choose Select. Switch to the attribute editor to edit the behavior of the weight server node. The flood attribute sets all weight values to 1, ignoring the effect of any influences. Global radius defines the radius for all influences. Global scale acts as a multiplier for the final weight value. Global influence scale works as a multiplier for all influences before their value defines the final weight. The difference between global scale and global influence scale is best seen when several influences affect the same region. Falloff lets you define how the influence value decreases closer to the radius. Curve falloff lets you set the influence range along the length of an influence curve. More important than the general values are the individual values for each influence. These can be found in the attribute editor in the Extra Attributes folder or through the external editor. Influences can be toggled on and off individually and can have separate radius and scale values. A radius value of -1 means that the influence uses the global radius. Any other value gives the influence its own radius. By default, the position of an influence is considered in local space. This is usually useful when parenting influences to other nodes in the scene, such as joints in a rake. The local position of an influence is based on a rest position. When reparenting an influence, it's necessary to update the rest position. This is only possible through the external Edit Influences window. If the absolute world space should be used, check World Space on. In case the influence is a mesh object, activate Use Shape to have the weight calculation be based on the proximity to the mesh rather than the transform node. To delete a weight server node, press the button in the target list and choose Delete. This deletes all related nodes and makes the target channel appear without any weights. Alternatively, you can choose to delete the weight server but keep the weights. For this, you need to choose Delete Node, which only removes the node. It's important to note that when exporting the blend shape setup with one or more weight servers, only the nodes and the attributes gets exported. Connected influences and textures are not respected. When a setup uses the weight server node, the plugin is required on the computer where the scene is opened. This is important when providing a scene to a customer or coworker who doesn't have shapes installed. The weight server node is part of the shapes installation and also available as a separate download. Since it's a free plugin, it can be easily distributed along with the scene without limitations.